Those of you with kids who are behaviorally inhibited might want some strategies for specific things that you can do to help your children over time develop more comfort with new and unfamiliar and unpredictable situations. As a reminder, behavioral inhibition is a type of temperament that some children have where they respond to new and unfamiliar situations with a lot of apprehension, discomfort, withdrawal, and possibly even clinginess to their caregiver, like their mom. So I've got 5 strategies that you can use to help your child develop a little bit more comfort in these situations over time. The first strategy is to create some predictability for your child, and this is especially true for very young children. So for example, before you go to a new unfamiliar situation, you can talk a little bit about what to expect, who's going to be there, what the place is going to look like, what the activity is going to be, anything that would help your child really have a sense of predictability, which we know can really help kids who are very anxious. You can also even use some role playing, so you can play out scenarios where your child has to introduce themselves to a new person or join an activity, maybe with a bunch of people that they're not really accustomed to being around. And this part's really important. When you actually arrive at the place and you go into the new situation, give your child a little time to warm up. Don't push them too fast. And in fact, you may even want to get there early so that they have a little bit of time before all the busyness starts to acclimate and to get comfortable and really settle into the new scenario. Now, this is all true for really young kids. For older kids, what you might want to do is start to help them build some tolerance for uncertainty. So for example, you might say to them, there's really no way for us to know what's going to be happening during Spirit Week at school this week. And that's okay. It's okay for things to be a little bit unpredictable, even though that might feel uncomfortable to us sometimes. So as children develop higher levels of cognition and can understand the concept of uncertainty or unpredictability, you want to start getting them more and more accustomed to tolerating that unpredictability and that uncertainty, because life is full of unpredictability and uncertainty. So little by little, we want to get our kids more and more comfortable with the concept of uncertainty. Okay, the second thing that you can do to help a child who's a little bit behaviorally inhibited is to make sure that you are modeling the correct behavior. So for example, you want to verbalize your comfort with new or unfamiliar situations as much as you can. And maybe you can even speak positively about new experiences. So you can say something like, I'm really looking forward to meeting your new teacher and seeing your new classroom. This is so exciting. It's a new school year, and there are going to be so many great things that happen to you this year. I'm really excited for you to get started. So even if your child is showing some discomfort, you can certainly model a more positive attitude and positive way of looking at novelty. You can also, with older kids, model some tolerance for uncertainty. So for example, you can say, I'm starting a new job this week, and boy, I'm really not sure what to expect. I don't know if I'm going to have my own office or if I'm going to be working at a cubicle. I don't know what my coworkers are going to be like. I'm not even sure what type of work they're going to want me to do. It's a little bit uncomfortable for me to not know exactly what's coming up, but I'm excited to get started because I know that once I find my groove, I'm going to feel a lot better about going to work every day. So you can model that approach to tolerating uncertainty and tolerating discomfort in yourself. Your children are listening, they are sponges, and they will over time emulate and model your approach to discomfort. So this is a big one that you can do to help them. Okay, the third thing you can do is something that we call gradual exposure. And this is exposing them to new, unfamiliar, uncomfortable situations little by little over time. Now, I want to caution you, you do not want to get to a party with a behaviorally inhibited child, shove them onto the dance floor and tell them, you dance and have a great time. This is going to feel very punishing to your child. It's going to be extraordinarily aversive. You don't want to do it. Instead, help them take a step-by-step approach where they are able to, over time, build a little bit of tolerance to this discomfort and take steps forward. Okay, so here's an example. Let's say that you want to help your child feel more comfortable participating in group activities. The first step that you can do is to go with them to just observe group activities from a little bit of a distance where they can stay with you. Second step might be to have them engage in parallel play where they play on their own, but right next to kids who are playing either alone or together as a group. Once they've mastered that, you can have them invite one peer over for a play date that's one-on-one. And once they've mastered that, then you can gradually increase their participation in group activities little by little. So again, you're going to break big things like joining group activities into smaller components and help them master each step before you have them move on to the next step. In all of this, you really want to catch your child having small victories and praise them. So for example, you can say, I saw you saying hello to somebody even though you were feeling shy at that moment. That was really brave. That was fantastic. You want to praise them, you want to celebrate it, and you really want them to feel good about themselves and good about their accomplishments. Make sure that you don't downplay any small victory, because for a behaviorally inhibited child, any little step toward approaching something new and unfamiliar is a big deal, and it should be celebrated that way. Number 4, you want to reinforce with some system brave behavior. You can do something like Brave Bucks where you can print them out or draw them together, and every time your child shows some bravery, you give them a Brave Buck, and they can save up enough Brave Bucks to cash in on some gift that they've been wanting or some experience that they've been wanting. This is a really effective way to get kids engaged in wanting to do exposure to hard things. Also, make sure that you praise effort, not just outcome. So if you see your child maybe get really close to the dance floor at a party and try to do a little bit of dancing with everybody else, that is fantastic. That's something that's really hard for some behaviorally inhibited kids to do, and it's something that you want to praise even if they aren't dancing beautifully all night long. So for example, you can say to your child, you know what? We went to your friend's birthday party today, and the last time we went to a birthday party, you sat with me the whole time and you really didn't want to get anywhere close to the activities of the birthday party. And I noticed that at today's birthday party, you left my side and you got a lot closer to the birthday activities. I was watching you and you did a fantastic job. You're going to get a Brave Buck because I know that required a lot of bravery on your part. That is a great way to really reinforce those small steps. And number 5, I want you to start avoiding labeling of your child. There's a tendency for parents to label their kids as shy, and there's a tendency for kids to label themselves as shy. Now, labeling isn't always a bad thing. My concern in these situations is that the child will fall into a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if I think of myself as shy and my mom is always saying that I'm shy, then when I go to this new and unfamiliar situation, well, I'm shy. That's my identity. So I'm going to enact behaviors that are consistent with being shy. What you can do is you can reframe some of this language. Instead of saying you are shy, what you can say is, there are some people who, when they enter new situations, they're immediately comfortable. And there are other people where it just takes them a little longer to get comfortable, but they do get there. And it sometimes just takes you a little bit longer, but I've seen you get comfortable in new situations, and you do a great job. That's a very different way of framing someone's personality and framing something that they find challenging. And I think that using this new language instead of the label might really help kids see their potential as opposed to putting themselves in a category that's kind of difficult to get out of. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Please let me know in the comments if you try any of these strategies and whether you or your children find them to be beneficial.